Hey everybody, KC here. So I'm at an Amazon Fresh store right now on La Cienega Boulevard in Los Angeles. And this is actually the first Amazon Fresh store that I've seen. You know, they've been opening up, but I haven't been really going anywhere because of COVID. But because I'm in LA, I thought this was a good opportunity to check one out. So I wanted to give you my first impressions from going through the store. And I want to be clear about a couple of things. First, you're going to see some pics below. You have to say, this is a snapshot, right? This is one store in one moment. So what I'm going to tell you about now is not necessarily something you'd see in any other store that they have or at any other time. So, right? One store at one moment. That said, walking through that store in terms of shopping, I have to tell you that that was one of the worst supermarkets that I've ever been in my life. It is just in some ways miserable in there. The produce just looks awful and picked over. Like this is what the stuff that nobody wanted. Well, there's probably a reason nobody wanted it, because it just looks miserable is the only word I can come up with. The meat looks unappetizing. The deli is uninspiring. You know, there's a terrible out of stock position in that store. I would be hard pressed to come up with one category or one aisle where I didn't see a significant number of out of stocks. It's an enormous problem for them. I'll also tell you there are a lot more people in that store who are walking around. They work for Amazon. They're wearing Amazon shirts and they're filling online orders as opposed to being actual customers who are shopping the store. A couple of other things. First of all, it's interesting. They have some 365 private label in there. They have some Amazon Fresh private label there, and they have some Happy Belly. Those seem to be the three private label names that they're using in various categories in the store. So in so many ways, this store is a total disappointment in terms of what I was expecting. But, this is a big but, I have to tell you that the technology-enabled shopping carts are totally cool. They are really, really fun to use. They're really easy to use. They track the things you're putting in your bags. If you want to take something out, it takes it out of the bag, shows it coming out of the bag. The receipt is easy to track. It's easy to check out. It's not quite as easy as Amazon Go, but it's totally, totally cool. I'll put a video below just to show you a little bit about how it works. I think the Alexa-powered information stations around the store, also totally cool. And very familiar because so many of us have Alexa. It's interesting, they talk about the fact that the system that they're using is also going to be available in other Amazon formats, and there's a suggestion on the website that pretty soon we're even going to see them at Whole Foods. So I have to say that's something I found really, really interesting. So when I look at a store like this, I think of it, first of all, it's not designed in any way, shape, or form, in my view, to be aspirational. It is totally functional, but right now it's a little bit more dysfunctional than not when it comes to the items that they have in the store and the terrible out of stock positions that they have, and just the conditions of the ironically fresh items that they're selling in the store. So it's funny, in some ways, when it comes to the actual store part of it, I'd give this a D, and that's probably generous grading. When it comes to the way they're using technology in terms of the carts and the Alexa system, that I'd give an A. I will say this though, it seems to me that the stuff that's not working, a really sharp supermarket person, they could fix that, and then they can build on the technology. Now, they have to be a little bit careful, because I told you, this was my first impression from going to the store, and as they say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. I think they've got to work very hard and very fast to improve the things that they're doing wrong, and then I don't know if they're ever going to get a total A, but they might get a solid B, and that might be enough to compete in the markets where they want to compete for the customers they want to compete for. Anyway, I'll be curious to see what those of you who have also been to Amazon Fresh will think about this and how it's compared to your experiences. This is what's on my mind this morning, and as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.